Is it happening? Oh, shit. It's happening. Oh, my goodness. Hi. Yeah, we did it. We did it. We're here. Oh, look at that. Oh, boy. Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. Well, excuse me while we figure out what's going on here. Look at that. It does see the focus rack? Well, forget that it's looking at, you know. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's the Cars and Comedy Show. My name is Jay Ryan. This is fun. This is good stuff. Okay. Truthfully, though, does everyone see what I'm talking about? How it racks the focus? You see how it's making the background blurry when I'm up front?
Oh, now I think. I didn't know what you meant.
See how my nose and my little mole on my nose is like in perfect focus and everything, and the background. Anyway, it's the Cars and Comedy Show. You are here on a good one. Don't let this opening detract from the quality of program that we have for you tonight. Rod Emory is here. Let's see. We figured this out today. The last time he was here, it was him and Amy, Amy and he them together, and it was just before COVID. It was right before 2020. It was the PECLA anniversary, and it was at the end of 2019. And then we were like, oh, well, we'll do all this stuff in 2020. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, we had all sorts of grand plans. I forgot about all of them because the world imploded. But anyway, the good news is, look who's here with us this evening. It is Nicole. She is having one hell of a day, so we'll probably talk about that. The good news is, like I said, our friend Rod Emory is here. And we got also up there in Canada, our buddy is back, Mr. G.I. Joe himself. Canada Mike. Hi, Canada Mike.
Greetings, Jay and company. It is delightful to be in your presence.
Well, we feel the same way, buddy. Sometimes I think you're just almost too polite and nice for the show, because while we preach it, I mean, you really, really live it. You are just
Canadian.
Oh, it's because he's Canadian. Yep. Duh. Didn't even occur to me. Also, we'll have to figure out this at some point. You can probably see just a little bit of the screen is I made the wise choice of updating the computer right before the show. Actually, it was like 2 hours before the show, but that is a wicked old computer. It's on the third reboot right now, trying to get that sucker going. So that may or may not be happening this evening. Maybe it'll be it. Oh, this might be it. Maybe it happened live right here. Oh, I hope it comes back. That might be it. Anyway, that's what's going on. We've got a lot of things to talk to Rod about, not only because he hasn't been here in a long time, but his life is always amazingly busy, lately even more so. Obviously, Luftgekuhlt in L.A. For the first time in a couple of years. His daughter just got married.
I just saw those photos, like, so beautiful.
Yeah, just walked Jayde down the aisle. So I'm sorry, they couldn't hear you, but there.
I just saw that she got married. Gorgeous.
And you know, there's the new Hagerty. We had Pat Long here. He was talking about it. The what's it called? Garage and Social. So anyway, he is wicked busy. I'm going to shut up about it so we can get him in here. Now's the time to start the show. Will, please take it away.
You too.
I know. The smoke is just yeah, well, Playset. Wow. You're one of the few guys that's really like it here. It looks better than it is in here. Oh, this is good stuff here. All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, yeah, that smoke is rolling through, isn't it? It's a fine San Franciscan evening in here.
From?
Yeah, that's right. And look at this. The thing ended up booting up. So we made it here, everybody. We did it. We did the thing. We are here. It is Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. My name is Jay Ryan. This lady over here is Nicole Ryan. Let's start with how the hell you're doing today.
Not good, but I figured out whatever. It's worse every day, and I don't want to be depressing every time I talk. But I was born at 4:57 p.m., and I think that's when shit starts going wrong.
You mean during the day? Like you're good till 4:56 and 59 seconds?
Good's relative, but compared to how I am after, yeah.
Should we start doing the show at 4? Because we could probably make those changes if need be. I mean, live at 4 doesn't have the same ring to it, but it
2
certainly
days-
is the type of thing that we could. It's a modification we could
Wake
make.
up
2
an hour
days.
later.
I don't sleep anymore.
Check yourself.
Done. But 2 days later doesn't help anything, so I'm just gonna get stronger without wearing myself out.
You're gonna keep talking. Well, I'm listening to you. Keep talking. You're trying to not wear yourself out.
Trying to
Just getting this camera over on here on Rod and the
But
three of us.
I'm tired all the time, so 2 days just makes me 2 days more tired. So I have to get stronger and stronger without wearing myself out. Getting tired because I sound like
You are a little harder to understand today.
this happens the more tired I get.
Oh. And food, energy, coffee, things like that don't help.
Things help on a short-term basis.
In case you want just a little black coffee if you want a little sip.
Thank you.
Short-term basis, yeah. Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Injection of caffeine.
I don't know. Anything that'll help.
Once I get situated, I think things will be fine. They're fine when I take care of myself
Yeah.
and don't have to crawl around and have my feet to the floor like that today.
Yeah, you weren't able to make. Sorry, we'll make this about us for a few minutes here, Rod. Even though I said we wouldn't. For anybody, the home viewer didn't get to experience this, obviously. But Nicole not only can't walk anymore, she can't stand and can't use a walker. I mean, all of these things have sort of. They were good for a little bit, and it goes this way. So now you scoot around on the floor, which has been fine for a couple months. But now, like even scooting around is a problem because your leg didn't work, and you were. It was difficult to watch because the mechanics of it were never going to work of what you were trying to do, and I could see that you couldn't get out of what you were trying to do.
That's the thing. And everyone sees things that are not what they feel like, and that's what they try to activate and act on. It's like, shut up
But you
and
can't
ask me.
connect.
I can talk if people ask me questions, but no one does. Everyone thinks how they think, and it's like, no, you're thinking like what you see, not what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So ask before you do anything, and everyone just acts. It's like, just stop.
The whole thing sucks because it's a lack of communication in your own wiring, getting a signal from certain place to a certain place, and then someone else tries to help you with their own communication, and then that's not what you need at that particular moment, even though the intentions might be wonderful, and it just doesn't help. I'm trying to think, what would be something that people could work on to make it better or easier for you when they're in your company, but there's
Just calm down before doing anything. I feel like everyone's in a hurry to do something. Like everyone's runs to the car. When we show up on Friday, it's like, just relax.
right.
This is not new for me. It's new for you in the moment, but
Right.
I deal with this
So-
all the time.
So people trying to make things easier for you then swell with all of this, what can I do? What can I do? And you're like, just
Relax.
Yeah. And the hard thing to explain is that emotions are real and they transfer. So if someone's mad about something that just happened or upset about what it looked like and what I can't do anymore, it's like, I feel that. So
Yeah.
you don't have to say anything. I feel it. And you wear it. So just go away.
People maybe who haven't seen you in a while or something, and then they see you, and then they wear on their face what they're.
Everyone does. No one knows what to expect from one to the next. I don't. So it's always new, it seems like, to everyone. It's like, no, this is just getting worse. Let's be realistic and not have great expectations yet. Just relax.
Great advice.
You're a warrior. I mean, here, take this. Anybody who says otherwise, I don't know that anybody would ever say otherwise, but you are a warrior. We have our own husband and wife stuff that we go through where we're just not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're perfect. Don't worry. excuse me, the way I misspoke, obviously. But what you go through every day that is outside of husband and wife stuff or job stuff or show stuff or car stuff or whatever, just what you're dealing with, Nicole stuff, nobody has any idea. I live with you, and I'm with you 24/7, and I don't know. I can't comprehend it. I'm losing my mind watching you try to deal with not losing yours.
And I can't explain anything, so it's even worse. So I'm going to make a version of Second City.
Take a second. You can't. We can't. There's no rush.
I'm going to write again. And I'm going to write a version of Second City, but based on Breakfast Club. It's totally
Based on what?
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. Yeah.
Wow.
I can talk better when I write. Oh, this is horrible.
Here's the thing, what I'm noticing, though, your thoughts, as much as your body is failing today, your thoughts are much more together. You have been able to communicate and explain things today like you have not been able to in a while. And I know that's a freaking sucky catch-22.
I focus on keeping that working.
Okay.
So when they tell you I need meds, it's like, I'm not kidding.
Right. Yeah.
That's what this is for.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so
Well, I talked to Chris last night, by the way. He's where Chris 996 Schwag, who is a
love
cannabis
it.
expert. He's a cultivator. He whatever. He's an expert. Consults all over the place. He grows stuff for you, and he's working on some stuff as well to get you those tinctures and those little pills and
Ooh.
things like that. Again, not pills is the wrong term, but like capsules of that.
That will save time
More
of having
pot
to-
capsules.
Great, but right now I'm really stuck in a seated position with that machine. So that is awesome.
You're stuck sitting there next to the thing all the time.
Yeah, because
To meditate.
I'm in so much pain all the time. It's like I have to be quick to make that stop.
Don't forget, you got here. It's Tradecraft Tuesday, everybody. You got your Tradecraft there if you need it. Also, if you ever want to do another show, we could schedule another show where you sit there and do it live so people can see the difference of how it actually affects. It's very easy to say, I don't want to be one of those pro cannabis things because that's not really what we're all about. We're just about pro making you feel better, and that happens to be helping.
My words I always say, I'll never say no, but I don't want to be a proponent of anything because everything is what people have to figure out for themselves.
Yeah. What you end up finding works for you, which we will find something, won't necessarily work for somebody else. They have to do their own. Yeah. All right. I'm so impressed with you. I didn't think we'd get anything out of you tonight, how we got you into the room. I was happy if you just sat here. I'm so impressed.
Thanks.
And I'm happy you're sitting there.
I'm so
been
glad
too
to
long.
see you, man. It's been forever.
I know.
With that, Mr. Rod Emory is here, and we couldn't be more delighted. Welcome back, mister.
Well, I really appreciate you guys having me here today. It's been a wild and crazy year so far, and lots going on, and it's nice to just see your faces and see your smile.
You've had one hell of a year. Most recently,
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, obviously there's the regular stuff that I do in my daily life. Get up at 3 a.m. and open the shop and blow the place out and prep everybody's stations and make sure that all the work is there and deal with all the clients and come up with all these cool creative ideas, building cars. So that's
just running the business.
That's the regular stuff. And then on top of that, we threw a few things in the mix this year. Obviously, the Luftgekuhlt was an amazing event, right?
Huge, yeah, it was awesome.
And that just happened to be the weekend before my 20-year-old daughter got married. So,
I mean,
and
no stress.
that's right. So it's been a fun year, but definitely glad that things are kind of settling in now.
Are they settling in? I was going to say, with all of those
Nothing
major
ever settles in. Come on.
Well,
Let's be
everything
real,
that you're hitting, they're all milestone moments too.
Yeah.
So like leapfrogging on these milestones, it's not like just going, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. These are like things that you have photo albums about in the old days.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So are you able to enjoy those moments with keeping all of this stuff?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. The last 2.5 years has been crazy for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. We all had to adjust our lifestyles. We all had to, try new things, make adjustments, be patient, learn new things. I mean, it's crazy,
Are you good at
right?
that?
So, if I look at like what happened, since I was here last, we obviously the world changed significantly, but I learned a lot throughout that process, because in 2020, when the world kind of shut down for a short period of time, and we were forced to, send the employees home, and for 2 months, they were at home going crazy, because they're all creative guys, right? They love to be in the workshop, grinding on stuff, banging on stuff, building stuff, and you send them home, and
they're also used to your schedule, which is we are going. All right, everybody, stop.
Right. And they loved it for about a week, and then they're like, Rod, when can we come back? And I said, I wish I could tell you, and it was really 7-8 weeks before I could invite them back to the workshop. Now, luckily, I sent them all home with pay. None of them missed a beat financially. They just kept, but
that's amazing.
But we had to definitely make some adjustments. But I also learned a few things throughout that process too, where it was like, Rod, you gotta, maybe take a minute for yourself, because here I am. It's just Amy and the kids and I at the workshop, and we organized everything, and once I got all that done, it's like, okay, now what? I jumped in my RS and did burnouts in the parking lot. Okay, that was fun,
How clean can you make it, right?
Right, exactly. And so, but one thing that we did is that, Amy and I bought a motorhome, and we're like, you know what? Let's take off on the weekends, because there were no car events, right? There was nothing. For a short period of time, like normally my life is Monday through Friday, grinding all week long, and then we're at something, at PEC, or we got to go to Amelia Island, or we got to go to Monterey, or I've got to go, meet a client at the racetrack and do some dialing. And it was like all of a sudden none of that stuff existed. It was just build car. It was like, okay, well, we're still going to build cars during the week. But what are we going to do on the weekends? So we did. We started doing some traveling a little bit on the weekends, and enjoying life a little bit more. And
at a slower pace than you usually would.
Right. Well, because I'll be honest, up until about 3-4 years ago, every trip that we ever took was car related.
Yeah.
I mean,
with that also with a fast pace.
Fast pace.
Usually racing, or there's a deadline.
Exactly. So it was nice that was, the silver lining of the whole COVID BS for Amy and I was that we found a little bit of enjoyment and found some time to, go to the lake or go out to the desert, or, just kind of get away and break up the monotony. So that was really good. So we've tried to continue kind of carrying that on.
Oh.
But of course,
Are you
2022, things changed a bit because Jayde decided to get married, which is actually the best thing ever. I mean, there's so much positive in all of that.
I don't have to ask you if you like the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, how great is that?
It's
like the one guy ever.
My new son-in-law, Drew, he's a really great guy. And I don't know if you know much about the history of Drew, but here's a guy that was right out of high school, about 19 years old, and I had put on my Instagram looking for an employee, just like I do. And the criteria is always, well, you got to live within 25 miles of the workshop, because, as you know, any more than 25 miles can take you half a day to get to work. So 25 miles, you've got to have your own tools. and you've got to be willing to come into work at 5, 6 a.m. and so
Got to be your schedule, and they got to be willing to learn it your way. That's what I recall.
and humble. You got to be like, you got to be teachable and just somebody that's eager to work, but also not so full of themselves that they're gonna come in and disrupt what's already going on, because that's important. We're a pretty tight family, and I put on there, just send me a DM, because what happens is you get like 1,500 people,
You have quite a following, and they would all like to work with
and they
you.
all, but I got one phone call, and it was this kid from Ohio. Now, I'm not telling everybody out there, if you want to get in touch with me, call me up.
Here's the way to do it, folks. He's giving you the inside track right now.
But he sent me a DM, and then he also called me, and he says, "Look, I just want to explain my situation." He says, I've grown up, my dad manages a body shop. I've worked in another body shop. I've got I've got a toolbox full of tools. He said, I love the cars you build. I have a little, kind of patina VW Bug that I drive every day, and I would love to come and work for you. And I said, well, where do you live? And he goes, Ohio. I said, well, that's more like 2,500 miles, not 25 miles. He goes, I know. He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll pack my tools up. I'll drive out. I've got some family in the area. I'll stay with them. If you like me, he said, then hire
You can have me. You can keep me.
But if you don't like me, no strings attached. I'll, go on my way. So he came
Somebody
to work.
willing to do that.
Right. And so he came to work, and it was just immediately, I was like, this kid, great work ethic, got some skills, and he was just eager to learn. And then he and Zane, same age, hit it off, and they became buds.
Great.
And
That was right around the same time she started spending more time in the shop, right?
Yeah, she was working there. So this was 4 years ago.
Oh, this is a longer endeavor than I thought it was then.
Yes,
Okay.
this was 4 years ago.
I didn't realize that.
So Jayde was, still in high school, and she was, getting ready to graduate. I think she was just getting ready to graduate high school. She graduated early, but
That's right.
yeah. So she graduated when she was 16 years old, so 2 years early, and she had big plans, go to college, kind of do her thing. But she was working in the shop in the summers, but Zane and Drew just hit it off, and they became buds. And Drew living out here by himself, he immediately we were like, hey, come over for Easter. Oh, come over for Thanksgiving. So, because he's Zane's buddy, go out to the desert with us. He rides dirt bikes.
Yeah.
We ride dirt bikes.
Perfect.
It was awesome.
We got this big motorhome.
Yeah, come on, let's go have some fun.
Totally.
And of course, and then Zane and Drew, they'd go up in the mountains, and they'd, go hiking, and they, would go to Yosemite, or they'd go up to up above Wrightwood. They'd do the Pacific Crest Trail, and
Yeah.
go hiking for a day or two. And so they just hit it off, and they became best of friends. Well, about
I don't know if it
year-
is good the way this.
about-
At some
about
point,
a-
there's a shift coming.
about
you
a
know?
year and a half about a year and a half ago, Drew had this hard question for Zane. He says, hey Zane, he goes, can I date your sister? And Zane says, I think his words were, hell no.
Yeah.
Isn't there anybody else you can date?
In the
Why
world.
date my sister? Zane already knew that they had this, that
Oh,
there
a
was-
little flirty.
Well, of course.
Okay.
I mean, here's a good-looking guy. Here's a good-looking girl.
Same age.
They're close enough in age, and he, So Zane says, absolutely, you can. If I'm gonna, if somebody's gonna date my sister, it might as well be my best friend.
It's hilarious that you go to the brother for the if you
So-
want to get married, you got to go to the dad. But if
Right.
you just want to date, you just hit up the brother. It's easy.
But he figured, and I give him total props for it. I mean, he respected his friendship with Zane
Yeah.
enough that he just says, look, I really like your sister. I want to date her. And so it was awesome. That's when the dating began. And then, of course,
A year and a
down
half
the
or so
road-
ago.
Yeah, that was about a year and a half.
Okay, so that is more on lines of what I was thinking. Okay.
Yep. And then, and so Jayde's at college at this time. So she's still at UNLV.
Yeah.
And, her plans at that time were still to be physical therapist. She was an aerialist, so did aerial
Very
acrobatics
talented,
and loved flying through the air. But
Is she not doing that anymore?
she does,
Oh,
just
okay.
as kind of sport,
For
just
fun.
for fun. But she's realized that that's got an expiration date on her body, and so she thought maybe physical therapy was the route that she wanted. And then she started taking business classes, and kind of started to fall back into her love for cars and everything we do. And in January, after she was done with school, she asked me if she could come work full time at the workshop, and so she runs the whole back end of the business now. And
Awesome.
it's just been amazing.
So she's his boss.
Well, technically, yeah.
I love it.
She technically is his boss.
I mean,
but,
they all are.
both at home.
She's my
right?
boss for sure. Yeah,
she's,
yeah.
at home and at the shop. No,
Wow.
but so Jayde,
love it.
Jayde's back in the business. She's there full time, which is awesome.
But is Zane still there full time too?
So Zane is still there full time, and
you
he
got
is going to
everybody.
be. Zane. The entertainment business. It's got ups and downs, and all
It's
kinds
not
of
steady
stuff.
work.
It's not steady
Unless
work.
you're on a show. That's
and
great
and,
to get
and he
on a
has
show.
been. He was on the Goldbergs for 8 years, and then
I forgot
he did
he was on a show.
8 seasons with the Goldbergs, and then still plays Nathan Fillion's son on The Rookie.
That's
so he
the one I
still has
remember.
that stuff going on, but the business has definitely got its ups and downs, and so his stability and what he loves and his real passion is working on cars. And so Zane's in the workshop, Jayde's running the business. Jayde's new husband is one of our metal shapers. It's just all in the family,
That's so cool to me.
So
Zane's office that he was building
Yes.
last time we were, is that, I'm sure it's
Oh,
done
it's totally
now.
done, yeah.
Is he spending a lot of time in there? Because I thought that was wonderfully creative what
It's
he built there.
very cool. Yeah, what you're talking about is his 2 shipping containers. He took 2 20-foot shipping containers, stacked them on top of each other, and then built a false floor on the upper one. So when you're downstairs, it's vaulted ceilings, and he's got his office and his little editing bay and all that, his writing room downstairs.
It's air conditioned and everything.
Oh, it's air conditioned, heated, the whole thing, and then when you go up the stairs, then you can go all the way to the top, and then the floor rolls and shuts because he's got his music room and a little soundproof booth for doing voiceovers and all the other stuff he's doing.
So when you're downstairs, it's this big open space. But if you want to go upstairs, you can shut it off to then all of a sudden have this closed and quiet private space.
Yeah.
Pretty old.
It is.
And he came up with this idea. I remember when you were talking,
did.
he goes, all right, so here's what I want to do. And blah, blah.
Yeah,
Chip off the old block, obviously.
it's fun.
Yeah,
And
I didn't get it done. That sounds awesome.
It is really cool. It is really cool. And so he's got that, but he's in the workshop every day, and he's
What's
he
his
just got through-
specialty? What does he like doing?
So Zane is so detail oriented. It comes from the work he
Being your
does
son,
and
yeah.
being my son. But he also is. I'm a little bit more on the edge of making things a little more hot rod and modifying stuff maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
Where Zane's a little more on the other side. He likes preservation and likes heads of bolts to be certain brands. And
Oh,
he's-
really?
So he's super detail
Like really
oriented.
meticulous.
Very meticulous. So
Oh.
he does special projects in the shop. He just finished, at Luft, you saw the 904 that was a preservation car.
Mm-hmm.
So Zane spent the last 8-9 months working on that car, just, cleaning and detailing and making sure that all the bolts are right and all the little details that needed. And now he's working on a Super 90 project a little 356 Super 90 project that is a preservation car. So Zane does that type
cool.
of stuff. And
I mean, he's got his own specialty.
He does. And it allows me to then bring some of those jobs in the shop that take that special care and attention that Zane can provide. So it's great,
How, this is kind of a weird question, but how is business? Like, everybody I know wants one of your cars, and then there used to be this long waiting list. Is it still the same?
It's longer. Yeah. It's just it's crazy. But it's good. We can only build really 12 to 15 cars a year. That's
impressive.
That's our kind of mark that I try to hit.
It's a really low number.
It is.
So much.
No, it is a low number, but
Well,
but,
it's a
but
low
what
number.
you do to put out one of those a month to me sounds astronomically
Yeah.
high.
But I've got a great team, right? There's 20
Right.
of us total,
Right.
and then we've got a great remote paint shop, and we've got a great remote engine shop. So we're, our team is just works so well together.
You've got the assembly line down.
Yeah, and because I don't have to worry about what happens, I don't have to worry about writing checks to, the suppliers. I don't have to worry about ordering parts anymore because Jayde does, Amy does the books
Oh,
and
wow.
payroll and all that. Jayde does all of the ordering, all the scheduling, all of that. So I can just be the creative guy in the shop I'm kind of like the lead singer in a heavy metal band, right?
This is
I'm
amazing.
right in the middle of the
I'm
shop,
so happy for you.
and all the team is around me, and we just bang on metal
You
all day
sound so much lighter
long. Yeah.
giving things to other people.
Yeah, any entrepreneur, you're always like, I got to do it all myself. I got to do it all myself. And I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also creative, right? So it's always this kind of balance of,
You're also a perfectionist.
I
Throw
want to
that in
do
there, too.
everything, but I've got a great team that can help me do everything, right? And so the last 3-4 years, I've forced myself to delegate to the right person on my team. And the hardest part that I've had, or the hardest time I've had really forever is turning over the parts side of the business. Like you can make or break your business by the nuts and the bolts.
Your
right?
inventory, right?
The
Yes.
inventory.
Yes.
Because if you have the wrong person ordering parts for you, for the projects, if they order a bag of 100 and you're only going to use 10 of them in the next year or 10 years, then you're just sitting on 90 of them forever, and you got to find a place for them, and you spend
Usually
the money.
that same person doesn't check the next time you're on the same project, so they order another bag of 100, and you could
and
have
it's
used
the death
10.
of a lot of small
Yeah,
businesses
yeah.
is their inventory and overspending. And so one of the things that I've always done is just done all that myself. I learned the parts from my dad.
The business, family business.
Learn the part numbers, learn all the stuff. And so, but it's a very time consuming aspect of the business. Also, who your trusted suppliers are, because you can't just, like when we're building these cars, I can't just call Stoddard and order every piece of rubber, because I like half my rubber from Stoddard. I like half of it, or some of it from Sierra Madre, some of it from International Mercantile,
Each
some of
piece
it
is from different
from
places.
Porsche. And so there's you have to pick and choose the pieces you need, because some door seals don't shut. The doors don't shut.
You're telling me there is no Rod Emory kit?
Yeah. So, but that's the hardest part of the business is,
Yeah.
or I won't say the hardest part of the business. That's a difficult component, because you have to keep up on all the parts. You have to keep up on the suppliers. And so Jayde, that's what she did every summer, right? She organized the nuts and bolts. She helped me put parts away. She knew the suppliers. She would do that in the summers. So when she came to me and said, Dad, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, I was like,
Relief.
because it's somebody that I trust, and it's somebody that knows the business and knows the parts. Just like Zane, him coming to the business now, I know I can put him on things that I couldn't put other people, because some people would try to rush through it, and there's some stuff you just can't rush. And so when you say I seem a lot lighter, it's having my family around me every day, and just having more people that I can trust and delegate
It's
to.
obvious that you're around people that you can absorb and count on and grow.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Feels to me like the idea that so many people are pulling in the same direction, and these are the people that are closest to you in the world. Like, there is no stronger nucleus.
It's the truth. And I mean, my wife, bless her heart, she didn't know anything about cars when
This
we got
story
married.
is
And
ridiculous
she-
because it only gets worse.
And she, and I was building houses and countertops when we met, and so, we got married, and I said, hey, we're moving to Oregon. I'm going to build cars. And she goes, cars? The only thing she knew about me and cars was that my daily driver was a 75 Cadillac ambulance with Domino's Pizza on the side. So that was not, anything like what she was going to spend the next 26, 27 years doing.
We
What did
all
everyone
say
else
that.
have at the time? Like a Honda Accord, like a regular car, right? Some sort of
Well,
regular
she
car.
actually had a Honda Civic,
Perfect, yeah.
But I had a 75 ambulance was what I drove, because it was long enough. I could put my ladders in it and all my stuff. And
Was 75 still a wagon, or had they gone to the van yet?
it was still a wagon.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
It
they-
wasn't,
they
it wasn't as
raised that
early as the
roof
Ghost.
thing.
It wasn't as early as the kind of rounded
That's
Ghostbuster
the
looks. It was a little bit
59,
more
yeah.
like a Eldorado, like a 75 Eldorado.
I'm
But-
picturing more of the girls' Ghostbusters car, the boxier style.
Right, exactly.
Totally.
But the cool part is it said Domino's Pizza, and it had, do you remember Avoid the Noid? Do you remember
Of course, I say it all the time.
Okay, well,
Nobody remembers the Domino Noid.
okay. My
He was the one who was he was always trying to get in the works so
All
that it
right.
would,
So my,
pizza be
my
free.
ambulance said avoid the Noid, and it had a 4-foot, 5-foot Noid on the side of it, right? And so I bought this thing, and
It
in
was
Oregon,
painted on?
100. It was blue and white, and said avoid the Noid, and then it had Domino's Pizza down the side. So Amy lives in this little. When I met her, she lived in this little town in Cedar City, Utah, right? Southern Utah, very conservative little town. And here's me and my snowboarding buddy, long hair, and we pull into town, and we're gonna live there and build houses, and we're driving a Cadillac ambulance with Domino's Pizza down the side, which I think it's maybe partially why she was attracted to me.
Of course.
Edgy, but
Oh yeah.
but the best part about this ambulance
New
is
man
that-
on the scene,
is that-
everybody.
is that Domino's Pizza loved us. Their business went through the roof when we started driving around, so we got free pizza all the time.
Wait, are you serious? I thought it was like a former delivery car or something.
It was in Oregon, but I bought it in Oregon for $2,000 and drove it
so
to Utah.
It was just free
as my-
advertising for this
them.
local. Oh
Yeah.
my god, you're hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't about to wipe the sign off the side because it got us free pizza.
Oh my god.
The only reason I ever got rid of it was because some snowboard company, business bindings, they made bindings for snowboard, and they talked me into selling it to them because they wanted to use it for a promotional vehicle. But yeah, that thing was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
That was-
How old
that-
were you during this when you had that car?
20.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, they actually used a hearse, not just a wagon or
Well,
like,
no,
Cadillac
75
didn't make
Cadillac
wagons.
ambulance. It was
That's what I mean, an ambulance.
Yeah.
An ambulance.
But for me, as a construction vehicle.
By the way,
it's
they were the
awesome.
same. It was the only difference
Yeah.
was how they did the interior accoutrements.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So, but Amy, she didn't know much about cars, and I kind of shoved her into this world. But she, man, she's run our business for almost 27 years.
How does that feel? I mean, you telling the story of when you guys met and then the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all kind of crazy when you look at where you are now. I mean, you did it and then
27
some.
Yeah, 27 years, right? 2 amazing kids. Wonderful business. I'm happy. Guy.
How's she doing?
Amy?
Yeah, we haven't seen her since.
Well, she loves being behind the scenes, right? I mean, that's her thing. But she's doing great. I mean, we're empty nesters now, so
Ooh.
that's changed a little bit in a positive way.
That
as
didn't occur to me that Zane doesn't live at home.
as I walked out of the house, tonight, I gave her a hug and a kiss, and she says, "I'll have dinner ready when you get home." And I said, "Just the two of us." I said, "Man, it's almost like we're newlyweds again." She goes, "We can be."
Oh, good
so-
for you.
No, it's great. It's great. We, she's doing wonderful. She still runs the business. She pops in for 2-3 hours a day, and then today she was driving her GT4. Which I
Awesome.
I, gifted her for our 25th
Anniversary.
wedding anniversary. Yeah.
Are you still? Right before COVID, you had just moved. You were very close to here. Are you still in the same place, or
No,
okay?
So we were just right across the freeway, and loved the house. It was a big house with a big pool that, took too much to keep it full. And
That's what you said. You're like, it's a great family party house.
That's it. It was a fun house. We moved in there. We got the place when Jayde was, I think, just entering her senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great house. She could have her graduation party. Her friends could come over, and it was a place that all the kids kind of congregated and all that. And then COVID hit, and it was like, we don't really need this place, and we, we knew that Jayde then went off to college, and Zane got a great house in Burbank, and we're kind of like, half the time Amy
Doesn't
and I are
make
like,
sense.
doesn't make sense, and power was going through the roof, and water,
Everything went through the roof.
Everything
Yeah.
went through the roof, and when you've got a pool
Why
and
are
a
we
big
paying
yard
to
to
keep
water,
this
and
theme park going here when we can simply go
exactly. And so what Amy and I wanted is we wanted to be able to just simplify life and get something that we could just lock the door and walk away. And if we were gone for a weekend or a week, we didn't have to worry about somebody taking the trash cans out. Didn't have to worry about, hope that, the sprinklers were working, or, did somebody's cat end up in our pool?
So you moved to the Oakwoods?
No. We actually had a stint at the Oakwoods like
Did you really?
12 years ago.
It's not even called the Oakwoods anymore, but I still call it the
No.
Oakwoods.
So we moved back to Valley Village, which is
Oh.
where we had lived for 10 years, and got a great place.
Where are you? Because I used to live in Valley Village. I was right by the post office and Joe Peeps there on
Yeah,
it
not
was
too
Wilkinson.
not too far from there. I'm not going to give you the address.
Good.
We'll wait till we're offline for that. But
Didn't occur to me.
Yeah,
What color's the house?
yeah, but it's It's a great little. Love to have you over, but not.
Sorry.
90,000
Sometimes I
of your
forget.
Fans.
Sometimes I
So-
forget.
So, but it's great. And then the other thing that we did, part of this whole transition was, get rid of the big house that needed maintenance and all that, and we bought a piece of property in Wrightwood.
Oh my gosh.
No
I'm glad
way.
you brought this up.
Okay. And
Yes.
So
Because I've seen you posting photos of going over there a little bit lately.
so Angeles Crest is my favorite road. Right?
It's awesome.
It's my favorite road. It's I grew up driving it. It's just there's no better area than the Angeles Forest to drive these cars. I mean that's why we photograph them all up there. That's why we.
That's what every commercial shot up there.
Right, and there's so many different areas to explore. Especially on the backside.
Agreed.
Up in Pear Blossom area and like some of those really cool roads. So
Anything past Big Pines out there, there's like a lot of stuff just in general.
amazing roads. So I grew up. My great-grandparents lived in Wrightwood, so I grew up visiting Wrightwood all the time as a kid, and skiing and snowboarding at Mountain High. So I love that community and love everything about it. And obviously, you drive from North Hollywood to Wrightwood, and it's Angeles Crest Highway. It's the best,
That's
right?
that's the
Get to go
route.
through tunnels, get to slide around corners, get to have fun, and it's the best.
Yeah.
So Amy and the kids and I spent some time 2 years ago up in Wrightwood, and I wanted them to just kind of see what it was like. And some friends of ours,
Because none of them had your
well,
experience
we'd
there.
driven through it, but they had never really spent any time there. And some friends of ours,
It's a place to go if you don't know it.
it's an
It's
amazing,
a beautiful community.
It is.
The people are great.
So
What's the restaurant we like? The little cafe
The
there. The
Grizzly?
The
Grizzly is the best.
That
Oh,
family.
their
They're
burgers,
so nice.
They're so nice.
everything about that place is, yeah. I could eat
On
there
and on,
3
right?
days a week.
Yeah.
There's also a great little place, Bigfoot Bowls, that you gotta try.
That's why I'm always calling it the Bigfoot Cafe. I confuse the two places.
Yeah.
I think I've been to both.
Yeah, Evergreen Cafe is the one that's up in town a little bit but
Sorry, go ahead.
So, some friends of ours had rented an Airbnb in Wrightwood that was called the Applewood Inn, and it's great. It's like 9 bedrooms, and I think it was an old retirement home or something.
Oh, wow.
But it's great. And so, like 3 families, we all got together up there, and we're playing in the snow and having fun. And my kids and Amy were like, "This place is awesome." I'm like, "I know." So that's all I needed.
They've taken the worm.
But yeah, they said this place is awesome. So I said, "Hey, Brian, Chris, let's jump in the truck, and Zane, let's go drive around."
Let me really show you.
Let me. So we drove around, and of course, they were just exploring, and I was looking for property because I'm like, "All right, this is it." So
You're looking for sale signs and
yeah, because I knew that my family said, "Oh, we love it up here," so I'm like, "Perfect, right?" Because it's an hour and 10 minutes from North Hollywood.
You're in town but out of town. It's the best.
Right. It's an hour and 10 minutes from here. I can either go the 210, I can go over Angeles Crest, or I can go through Pear Blossom. Doesn't matter. You just, whatever time of day it is, you can get there without traffic. So we wanted to find a piece of property, find a little place that we could just kind of have as our SoCal escape, from the
Get
rat
away.
race. Right. Get away for a couple days on the weekends. We found 4 acres up there, just under 4
wow.
acres, south facing, on Angeles Crest Highway, on Highway 2.
What?
And it is just the most magical piece of property. And it's got 4 1-acre terraced
Oh my gosh.
pads, right? And so we bought this place, this piece of property, just dirt.
This future compound, I hear you.
Just
I
dirt,
see your brain
right,
going.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I used to host campouts and events. And,
Why go all the way up there when you could just...
So we bought this piece of property, and we got a little camp trailer, and we put it on the property. And every weekend we'd go up there when this whole COVID thing was going on. We'd just go up there, and Amy and the kids and I, we'd start working on the property, and we'd paint fences, and we'd start doing all this stuff. And then Jayde says, "Yep, this is where I'm getting married." So that's what we spent the last 9 months doing as a family.
Nice.
I mean, every
Preparing the
weekend,
property.
preparing the property. So if you get on my Instagram and you look at the pictures of the wedding, it's on our family property, and we did rock work, and we built stairs, and we built an arch, and so it's 4 acres.
I
of
thought you
kinda-
were out at Calamigos Ranch or something when you were pulling up with the truck and the gravel and everything. I said, this is a very nice place.
It was
really?
It was a piece of dirt that we got on our little JCB skid steer tractor and started pushing things around, and so we've got a great place.
Wow.
Jayde got married there, so of course we've got a great, we're never getting rid of it. But for our little car stuff that we've got going on, it's going to give us a great place to do some little gatherings and drives.
Can't even wait to see.
From Van Nuys to Wrightwood and back
I
and
feel
forth.
like you're gonna have so much fun there.
Oh,
I'm
till you
so
see it.
happy for
Wait,
you.
wait till he drives you up there, and you can just sit there and look at the blue skies and all the evergreen trees, and it's magical.
Going out there in nature, I mean, that's the reason why we started going up there on Fridays
Yeah.
in the first place. But it's one of her favorite things to do, and the longer the drive out there, the better. So
Well, I'll give you
happy to come all the way over the hill.
I'll give you the address. I'll give you the gate code, and you got to just drive your little car up there and just go park up on top and just
Look out.
Just look out. It's unbelievable. So
We may be there next time you show up. Still.
a little camp trailer there, but no, it's great. So that's
That area too is also in every TV show I grew up with. Like you see Knight Rider driving by the little
Right.
castle there, by
Yep.
Big Pines Turnoff there, or A-Team is over there all the time. All the shows we grew up with.
right there. Well, yeah, I mean, Wrightwood is such a magical little place that people, everybody thinks Big Bear, Arrowhead, if you're in Southern California, but then you got to deal with the traffic, and it's a lot more commercial, and
They're also seasonal tourist communities, whereas Wrightwood is kind of like the people who live there. And while there is some summer renters, all right, renter, it just seems like a more of a 24/7 community.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, so
Well,
we
we
love
love it out there.
So that's why we're there every other weekend or whatever, and I
Because you can be.
keep my dirt bikes and my bicycles up there, and we can just go up there and have
I
fun.
love it.
And what about your quads and ATCs and stuff like that? You do that there?
Yeah,
Of course.
Well, it's only 30 minutes from El Mirage. It's El Mirage is just
Because you can go
Right.
the back way down the. Yeah,
right. It's 30.
interesting.
Take Sheep Creek Road right to El Mirage. It's literally like 30 minutes from my property to El Mirage.
That's ridiculous.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
So it's fun. The family loves it, and we get good use out of it, and it gives us that escape. Our shop operates primarily Monday through Thursday. We do 4 10-hour days. That's our kind of compression of our week. So that's when the employees are there on their regular time. Mm-hmm. When we're thick into projects, then I'll come in. They can work overtime on Friday or whatever else. But
Sure.
but that's really the main work week, and it's great for me because that leaves Fridays for me to be able to interact with clients or go to events. Or on the off weekend, I can take a 3-day weekend and
Get out of town.
just get out of town and kind of decompress a little bit. And that's part of why I found more happiness in my life.
Why you look so happy and relaxed and
Yeah.
rejuvenated.
You wear.
Thank you.
You also just got over quite a big hump of like so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we were trying to schedule this, and it, like things kept popping up. Oh, speaking of which, too, we didn't even get to this. But are you part of a new show or a film, or can we talk about that? Is there something coming out? There was something that you went to a screening of the other day.
Oh, that's the Baja Bug movie.
Oh,
So that's something.
well, you
that's
are
been-
involved in that.
Yeah, so yeah, and that's been a great little project. A guy, Michael Squire, that did a movie kind of documenting the Baja Bug, which obviously an off-road stuff. The beginning of kind of off-road racing and score. A lot of it began with the Myers-Manx and early dune buggies, and then my dad built the first Baja Bug or bobbed beetle. Where you take a little VW Bug and chop the rear and chop
Take the
nose
fenders
and-
off and everything. Yeah.
So my dad built the original Baja Bug in the 60s, and so this movie called the Baja Bug movie kind of goes through the evolution of like Myers-Manx and Baja Bugs and Class 11 and all that. So yeah, my dad and family and I went down to the little premiere of that, which was part of the Newport Beach Film Festival.
That's
last
awesome.
week, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that there's a resurgence of these the Myers-Manx and
Oh,
now the
yeah.
Baja Bug. They were kind of, I don't know, for a while there, it seemed like when everyone was talking about Porsche and whatever, they kind of just sort of lifted their noses at what we used to consider the cool dune buggies.
Right.
And,
Right.
To me, that was kind of some of the stuff that got me into cars. It was like, oh, people can do that with cars. Oh, then I want to be into cars. I like that. So anyway, that makes me happy that
But
at
it's
least
fun
people
to
are
see-
talking about it again.
Oh yeah, the Porsche community's really gotten behind the whole Myers-Manx,
Yeah, a little bit.
revamp. But a lot of that has to do with Philip that owns Myers Manx. You know, he's a huge Porsche guy, and
He's a great
and then
guy.
and then you got you know Freeman Thomas and all the cool cats that have come together to really you know revitalize that brand and make it relevant today. So it's been fun to see that come together.
Have you driven the new one?
I haven't driven it yet. I was there for the little premiere of it. And,
I love the looks. I mean, it's on the money for me. I can't wait to drive one.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever do anything electric? I'm sure probably people ask you that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people ask me all the time. I mean, I'm not.
Add me the
I'm-
list, Rob.
I'm not excited about it. Just because I think that, you know, I mean, there's a reason why I build 356s.
Uh-huh.
I love so much of the analog, you know, vintage feel of what we're doing. It's, you know, it's
We're
like,
capturing something else, then it won't be there.
right. You
Yeah.
get into a 356 and it kind of transports you back in time. But obviously, I give them more power and better brakes and all that stuff because I want to make them more relevant and make them, you know, more usable today.
Yeah, that's the answer. You're already doing what you think the modern interpretation should be.
Yeah, and to be honest, modern enough. You know, it's,
Well, yeah,
it's,
sorry.
yeah,
I should
it's
probably quote that.
You know, the electric stuff. You know, and I've actually said this before. I won't say that I'll never do an electric 356, but my goal is always to have my 356s powered by Porsche or powered by some version of a Porsche engine, right? Like my engine that we put in our cars is essentially a repackaged 964 engine that we made a 4-cylinder. It's all factory Porsche part numbers. It's just
amazing.
just compacted into a 4-cylinder version rather than a 6. So you'll never see me put a Tesla or you know or some you know Volt engine in one of my 356s, just like I won't put a Subaru engine in my 356s.
Right.
You know, Porsche is continuing to refine their electric package. They're going to eventually make it smaller, that fits in smaller Porsches and not just
Will
like
you put
the
a
big-
Taycan motor in your
No, well, it wouldn't fit. There's no
good
way.
point.
But if
Yeah.
they build a little 2-seat Roadster and the you know electric package is small enough, and
Oh, that's an interesting point.
5 years, 10 years down the road, I can repurpose some of that, just like these people do with the Tesla stuff.
Yeah.
Then I would consider it. But until then, you know, I love the smell.
Oh,
love
that's
the
what it's
sound.
all about. Why are you driving that car
Right?
otherwise?
You know, I mean, there's a reason why I still use the German square weave carpet, because I want that wool smell or certain leather, you know, or you know.
It's
just
the
like-
after effect. It's the outgassing. It's all the other things that are
Yeah.
part of the experience.
And you take away the sound and the vibration and the feeling of a gas engine. And I mean, I like the Taycan. I've driven them, but I get kind of bored, you know.
I'm that way with all modern cars, all new
Yeah.
cars, anything with a screen in it, even if it's gasoline powered. I'm sort of that way. I'm like, well, they're all pretty amazing. They can all do everything. I mean,
Right,
You
exactly.
can find the cheapest crap. What it used to be like a Hyundai or something like that. They're incredible cars these days. Incredible cars.
I still want to work for it a little bit, you know. And
Yeah, that's it. Anybody can be fast. Although, you know what? Then somebody takes one of those cars and they go up on the crest and they go shooting right off.
well, yeah.
An
We'll run out of
athlete
talent
said
real quick.
something like that. Like the mechanics of how to be fast are the same regardless.
But
it's the
controlling it is
mental
the human's
acuity,
responsibility.
right? And so the mental acuity and education and forethought of how to apply it is really important, and I think that translates to cars too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's lack of education for sure.
Yeah. What?
I'm one of those people who feel like, well, I wouldn't want to probably do it if I had them. I feel like these supercars you should have to go get a racing license. I mean, like if you're going to have
Oh,
1,000
there's no doubt.
horsepower and you're just going to have a car where you can fly.
Well, it's just like it makes no sense to me that an 85, 90-year-old guy that, you know, that can drive a 45-foot motorhome and not have to have any special license. You know, there's certain things.
Backwards.
Yeah, not to say that when you're 85 or 90 you can't drive, but you know, let's be honest. The older you get, your vision, your reflexes, all that
Recertification is
stuff.
all I'm saying.
Exactly. You know, and just like with these supercars, yeah, don't just give them. They should have to go through a little bit of some type of training or steps. You know, because these cars are just too fast, and the problem is they instill too much confidence in you. Like you get in them, and you know, I mean, I've got my GT3 RS, and that car is super capable.
That's
I
old now,
still-
and that thing's a
and
rocket.
I still can't find the limits on it.
No.
right? I don't want to.
You have to go to the track.
But
right?
it's one of those things where it makes you feel so confident because it does everything so well.
Do you have that rear steering too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, but when I first started driving it, it kind of caught me off guard a little
That's
bit.
where I am with it. I haven't driven it enough to like it. People who have it say
Yeah.
they love it once they've gotten used to
But
it.
you can feel the car take a different step.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking that ass is moving on you, you react totally differently
Right.
than, nope, everything's under control here.
Fortunately, your tire's that wide. You've got, a wing that's, wider than the car that
You're
keeps
fine.
the thing planted. But yeah.
Do you have a favorite car that you you have these, I'm going to call them slow in comparison to the GT3 RSs. You've got the 356 life, or you can go RS life. Is there a happy place for you?
Man.
There's no wrong answer.
I mean,
don't-
I to be honest, I love them all. But
Yeah.
my daily driver's a 996 twin turbo. So,
Oh, I forgot about that car.
yeah. And I just drive the stinking wheels off of
How
it.
many miles are on that?
125, 130.
Beautiful.
It's just like the war wagon, And I love that thing. It's such an underrated car. You got 500 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive. It's got massive brakes. It's got, all this stuff, and they're
And it's still a great size. It's not too big.
right.
I
yeah,
love the size
because
of that
it is.
car.
It's a lot smaller footprint than like my 991.
Yeah.
So I love that car.
Where do here? This is a great segue. Where do you keep them all?
Well, that is a great segue because just like everybody that has this car addiction and a two-car garage, we're always looking for a place to store stuff.
Common problem in LA.
Common problem in LA. Common problem with all of my clients, which is why. So yeah, so 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, it was right before COVID. Hagerty made a trip out here to the West Coast, and he wanted to come and tour my workshop and kind of see what's going on. I mean, I've been a Hagerty customer as far back as I can remember. I mean, they're such a great company. They, our commercial lines for our business and my personal cars are all insured with Hagerty.
It started with a great family, and then it became a great company. But I
Yeah.
think the family is where it.
Absolutely, and they're passionate about cars and the community around it. But McKeel, and I have always spent time together at whether it's Amelia Island or Monterey, and so he called me up and he says, "Hey, I'm going to be in LA. I'd love to go out to dinner with you and a few people." And so we got to talking at dinner one night, and he knew that I in Oregon I had my Arrive and Drive business where I was building vintage race cars and had a big storage building and loading them in my trucks, and we had clients that we were transporting cars all over the country and doing vintage racing stuff. But we also had a big car storage business and transportation business. Plus, I was involved with the Porsche dealership in Bend that had what was called Club Carrera, which was so this was in the early 2000s. We had a club where we had 75 cars, and we had a detail bay and cool meeting space, and McKeel knew that I had that in my past. So when he came out a couple of years ago, he's like, "Hey, we're looking at getting into this, what we're going to call garage and social space, a place to store cars safely, but also a place to congregate and build community. Would you be interested in learning more, maybe being a part of that?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
So I knew that they were getting into that space before they even really entered the space. And I said, "Look, when the time comes that you decide to bring it into Southern California, I'm in. I want to be involved." Well, Patrick Long, my history with Patrick goes back to 2005. Patrick was one of the Porsche factory drivers that Porsche gave us when Alex Job and I did the Daytona prototype program. So Patrick was one of our drivers. So, I've known Patrick for years and followed his career and, spent so many weekends at the track together. And then when he started Luft, I started supporting it from, the very first event in Venice. I brought as many cars as I could. And I love what he's doing and what he does for our community. Pat and I have always talked about, hey, there's, eventually we'll do some venture together. McKeel had also, been talking to Pat. about
Reached
the same-
out to all the usual
the same
suspects.
type of thing,
Sure.
right? and knew that there was a synergy between the three of us, between Hagerty, Emory, and Pat Long and Luftgekuhlt and what he was doing. So when Hagerty decided to expand kind of the West Coast, we got together, put our heads together, and we said, let's do this, but let's do it a little different. And so that's kind of the launch of, Hagerty Garage and Social here on the West Coast. We've got, our first building right off site of the Van Nuys Airport,
Yeah.
which is a 2.5 acre campus.
We don't know much about it other than when Pat was here in that chair, he was talking about you out that weekend. He said you couldn't help yourself. You're out there with a weed blow, with like a weed.
I'm a worker,
leaf
man.
blower
Look
or
at those
something.
hands, wherever your camera is.
Whatever it was like you said, all right, we're doing this. So you went out and did it and took care of it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the fun part was that Pat and the Hagerty team and I, we started exploring, looking around for locations, right? And there's a lot of great storage businesses and clubs on the other side of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
You got Matt Farah and what he's doing, which is amazing, and he's booked, and he's, I think, doing another facility, and you've got Scott Elrod, and you've got, Auto Conduct, and all these other great businesses there, or facilities.
Yeah,
But
hang spots.
There's really nothing on this side of the Hollywood Hills. I mean, it's, part of it is that the demographic is heavier on that side of that type of cars, but
Could be. There's just as many more driving roads out here,
this
really.
is the side where we hit the hills. This is the side where we congregate and go to events. And so we decided that the Valley, which is really the center, car culture and hot rodding started here.
SoCal car culture, I think of the San Fernando Valley. Van Nuys cruise, all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we thought, Van Nuys or the Van Nuys vicinity is the place to start. And so we started looking for property, and we found, we looked at a lot of stuff, but the very first one that we looked at is the one we ended up back at.
It's like a pair of glasses.
Yeah, and the only reason that we thought we had to keep looking was because there was already an offer on the place. But
or you might have taken it right there, the first one you saw.
Absolutely.
Really?
We just loved it. It's a 2.5 acre compound, so we've got 2.5 acres. We've got a 30,000 square foot building, which is our garage building, so we can safely, securely store, 175 to 200 cars. It's pretty much clear span. There's a few posts down the center, but just wide open space.
30,000 square foot. There's only a few posts down the center. That's like no post. That's fine.
It's an amazing big warehouse building.
Wow. Okay.
The coolest part about the compound or the property is you've got a 30,000 square foot building, a driveway that comes in, and you've got a separate 8,000 square foot building that is our social building that we're building out right now. That is our community center.
So it's separate.
It is.
Together, but
That's
separate.
really cool.
Well, and the best part about that is that it allows us to not only have like the most amazing hangout and event space, but it creates enough separation that we can invite people into the garage building and let them be a part of the cars. But if we throw an event, we can still keep some security.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And so, because the yard is really 2 acres of open yard, we can have cars and coffee, we can have swap meets, we can have, impromptu car shows, we can do burnouts if we want.
Yeah, right. You can make it
but it's really an amazing it's an amazing space. And so you've got Pat Long that is really the event wizard of our time. I mean, let's be honest. Like when
he's got LA down, I'll tell you that. He knows how to do an event in this town.
Or Indianapolis.
Sure.
Last year, Luft was in Indianapolis.
But it's easier to do in other places, I think. It's hard to pull off stuff in this town because nobody comes out. It seems like it's the sports people complain about the same thing. Like
it is. But he's he knows that he's got the formula.
He's connected. Yeah, you guys both are.
He knows who to call. First of it's hard. No one cared.
Right.
Like, I'm doing this thing. It's really cool for this national team. They're like, great.
Yeah, but you guys do a very good job of connecting with Los Angeles, I think.
You guys have done really well.
Well, it's only going to amplify now because what our goal is, having Hagerty as our partner, there's a lot of things that we can do that we couldn't do before. Driving events and community building and putting on events that we normally couldn't do. And so having this facility that we're going to store cars, but have this great community building. Pat and I have some great ideas.
How far are we away from people being able to see? I know this is build out is still happening. So I mean, this is a construction project
So
right
we're already
now.
yeah. So when you saw maybe on my Instagram where I was blowing the parking lot and doing all that, and
pretty new.
polishing floors and all that. We took possession of the building in July, and then we had to do all of the remodeling on the big warehouse building. So the storage building is done. We've got 50 cars in there. We're already moving cars in, and we aren't even
Technically over.
technically, we have our occupancy permit, so it's technically open, but we aren't really promoting it yet because we want to finish the rest of our build out.
Yeah.
But the storage building is already off to the races.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Parking lots all resurfaced, buildings are all painted, and now we're doing the build out on the main social club. And the social club has some. I can't wait to share it.
How big did you say? 8,000 square feet. That's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's got doors that open up so we can bring cars in, and it's got wine storage, and it's got a library, and it's got a cool dining room and a catering kitchen, and it's just.
How does the garage and social work? It's a membership program, right? Mm-hmm. And does it work is it only for your location, or is the membership program apply
That's
at
the
all?
cool part. That's where this whole thing makes sense, because I've got clients all over the world, right? Pat has clients and friends all over the world, and it's one thing to be able to store your car in Chatsworth, and car sits there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can store your car in our facility in Van Nuys, but let's say you want to spend your summer in New York.
Oh no.
We've got a garage and social there that we can transfer your car to.
You can transfer it.
Yeah. Let's say that.
Wow.
Let's say that. So we can just
Like a concierge type of.
Snap our fingers, and the car can then be moved to another facility. But there's also events that you can take part in, because if you're a member of the Van Nuys Garage and Social, and we're having an event at the upcoming Culver City Garage and Social, then you're part of that as well.
Right, your membership applies.
Yeah, or the new Miami one that just opened up, or the Bedford, New York one, or
So
the
that's
Delray
interesting.
Beach, Florida.
So we go home to Connecticut, right? And then we could go visit the Bedford, New York one, no problem, because it's just right over the.
No problem.
Wow.
And let's say you're going to spend 2 months up there, then
Send
you
the
just
car.
Send your car over there, and now it's got its place. And
Look
you
at
can
And
you.
it'll be there when we
utilize the
get there
facility.
it'll be there
Right.
ahead of us.
Sounds great.
And the coolest part about what Hagerty's done on the back end is that they've developed an amazing app, so it makes it super easy. So once you're a member,
I like it, except when you get pulled over on the crest and try to pull your policy out, and there's no reception up
well,
there.
no, there's a specific Hagerty Garage and Social app.
Oh, I see.
So
Sorry.
so once our members, yeah. So once our members, once you're a member, then you can schedule when you want to pick your car up. You can have it detailed. You can, it's all super easy,
Wow.
super streamlined, and we've got a great team that we've put. We've got a general manager, an assistant general manager, and a couple of car concierge guys on site all the time.
Does this mean do you and Pat have to handle the operations of this thing? I know you're not there, the ones doing things, but
So the best part about this is that this isn't Hagerty's first facility, right? They've got them on the East Coast. They've got one in Seattle. So they handle the infrastructure of the facility.
Wow.
Pat and I are putting on the events. We're bringing the people in. We're building culture.
giving it the personality.
Yep, we're hosting. We're going to be hosting, evenings where panel discussion evenings. We're going to be doing
This is awesome.
swap meets. We're going to be doing drives that originate at Hagerty Garage and Social in Van Nuys, and we drive the crest to Emory's little property in Wrightwood, and that's what's going
Totally.
to start happening.
He said Van Nuys to Wrightwood earlier, but I didn't make the connection because he was planting a seed for this now.
So there's just to say that I'm excited about it. I can't wait to tell everybody about it. I mean, this is my first time actually dropping little crumbs.
Thank you.
But between Pat and Hagerty and I, we've got some great stuff. And so for me as a business, Emory Motorsports, which is my core business. That's what I do every day. This is the icing on the cake because, I build cars for people. And what are you going to do with it? You want to drive it. You want to be part of a community. You want to be part of something. Because I don't want to just build cars for somebody and have them sit somewhere and never get used. Mm-hmm. So this gives me now the outlet to be able to host driving events, to be able to do stuff, like if you were one of my clients in New York that I just built a car for, now I can say, okay, let's launch your car. Let's do the reveal of your car at the Bedford facility.
And make a big splash.
And let's have some fun. Let's let the New York members of Garage and Social enjoy the reveal of a car, and let's get all your buddies down there. And so it's this new added layer of fun for me because now it can be experiential. It's not just about building cars. It's kind of what Amy and I did for 20 years with our vintage racing program. It was the reason that we had such a successful run for all those years doing the vintage racing wasn't because we built great cars. It's because we built great cars, but then we loaded them in our trucks and we fed you lunch and we invited your family and we cooked food for you and we opened our house
the whole
at
experience
the track for them. And that's the part of Emory Motorsports since I've been here in California that I've been lacking and missing is the ability to build community around the cars. Because we've just been so busy just building cars.
Yeah, you also opened up another shop, and then this will be great because everyone always wants to come visit your shop. You can say, "Well, we'll see you at the Garage and Social." And
yeah,
Saturday.
we'll still do some open houses at Emory Motorsports because people want to see the cars and see them being worked on. But now
you want to see how the soup's made.
I can also bring our cars to the facility, and we can have a big, kind of open air fun event and let everybody enjoy it. So yeah, I'm super excited about, our partnership between Pat Long and Hagerty and I because it's we get to share the experience of all these cars with everybody, but we're all sharing in the work. So it's not like me just going out and trying to start my own storage facility because
that's a lot of work.
Well, and that would also take away from my core business. This is a way to enhance what we're doing.
I love it. It feels like a very natural partnership all around.
It is. And great people. Some of my favorite people to share.
Yeah, and you'll be around them all the time.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything that we didn't hit? You've done the time. You have fulfilled your obligation, sir. But is there anything that we got the wedding, Luftgekuhlt we talked about?
Well, yeah. What about that? Did you see a picture of that car that my son-in-law drove away at the wedding in?
Tell me about it. Yes.
I can't come here and not talk about how proud I am to see one of my employees. Let's start with him being an employee, right? Because he wasn't engaged to my daughter when he started the project. One of the things that I love is that the guys that work for me, my team, they're not just clocking in. Like they love cars, but let's face it, it's hard to afford to break into this hobby that we're in, right? Because it's expensive. These donor cars
It's not what it was way back when we were kind of farting around with it.
Exactly.
they were available and cheap.
Yeah, and so Marco and I, Marco from TLG and I, we bought this building that was full of a bunch of parts and some decrepit old rusty cars, and that was 2 years ago, and there was a couple of 912s, and there was a VW Bug, and there was an old Isetta and a bunch of stuff. And so we, Marco and I didn't want to hoard the cars ourselves, so we thought, what can we do with some of these cars? And he gave one of the crusty little 912s to one of his employees, Armando, and I gave a few of the cars away that were there. And I kind of asked all my employees, I said, I want to gift a car to somebody, but you got to put in the work. Like, I'm not going to give you something that's just going to sit in my parking lot.
Right. I want to watch this car get restored here at the shop, right?
Right. And I also said, look,
let's build
part
a car.
Part of the deal is that you have to also help me clear out this building and spend your weekends helping Marco and I, take stuff to the dump. Because it was about a 3,000 square foot building packed full of junk.
Sure.
And also Porsche parts and cars.
If you want it, you got to take it all, that kind of thing.
Right. And so Drew was like, he's a single guy, 22 years old. He's like, man, I would love, an opportunity to build a Porsche. So I gave him this 68 912 that had fender flares about this big and some whacked out bumper that was fiberglassed on and no floors. And it was
Frankenstein car.
It was rusty and crusty. I'll send you a picture of it. It was terrible. And Drew's like, yes. And he spent the next 18 months, every free weekend, every free evening, grinding, cutting, and putting the work in. And, 9 months into the project, he's, dating my daughter, and he's planning to get married and all this other stuff. So it started out as he wanted to build a car for himself, and then it quickly became the getaway car.
Wow.
And
Gave ourselves a deadline.
yeah, and he started building it. And Jayde, my daughter, was out there making him food, and she was bead blasting parts. And so to watch the two of them, create this amazing car was just something that was magical. And fortunately, Luft was a week before the wedding. This is the fortunately part of Luft being a week before, is that he decided he wanted to have the car done for Luft rather than so that at least it was done a week before the wedding.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think
You want a little bit of
I think he
grace.
probably would have been bolting parts on
The night before.
The night before.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
But to watch the Drew build this car and to really take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, I gave him the donor car, but that's it. I said, you got to figure out how to build it. And obviously he's
Capable.
very capable, but he also had to project manage it. Like I said, look, I want you to put an outline together just as if you were building it for somebody, and let me kind of look at it. I'd love to be a part of it. I'd love to see your process.
See how his brain lays out the steps.
And also see if there's anything that I can assist in, and I did. So I just consulted along the way and told him what rubber to buy, what parts to buy, what he can save some money on, and he just shoestringed this thing along and
Awesome.
and built this car and finished it for Luft, which it was a huge hit there, and it was 100% done before the wedding, although he had a fuel pump go out.
They can't predict that. That could have happened to anybody at any time.
But the fuel pump went out on, let's see, Friday night or Saturday morning actually, before the wedding. So he, day of, he had to race to Napa and get a new facet pump and change it because, but that was all part of it.
It's all
right?
part of it.
And then
So she rode up in the old truck with you.
So I drove her up the hill and to the wedding site in my 29 Roadster pickup.
Super cool.
And then he zoomed her off in his 68 912 special.
The video you posted is beautiful. But were you nervous, or were you, we're finally here and I'm just going to take my time and enjoy this moment? Because you looked a little checked out. I couldn't tell if it was I'm checked in or checked out.
I was actually really calm and really centered. And the reason why is because we set my motorhome on the bottom of the property. So the property's got, like I said, these 4 terraces, and the reception's going to be at the top. The ceremony was on the second one down. Kind of a cocktail level was on the third one down.
Oh, wow.
And then our motorhome was at the very bottom. And so Amy brought Jayde from the bridal house, because they stayed in a little Airbnb, all the bridesmaids and all that. But Amy brought Jayde to the property about an hour and 15 minutes before wedding time. And she was in her beautiful dress and brought her into the motorhome. And so met me at the motorhome. And then I had my truck parked out in front of the motorhome. So we were able to be inside the motorhome while all the guests were arriving. And so it gave Jayde and I about an hour and a half to just reflect and just talk and just say our prayers together and be calm. And it was that moment, and it was that special time that my daughter and I got where we just got to be one. And it was the most beautiful thing ever, because both of us our nerves were calmed. I mean, she's my everything, my little angel. And so for her and I to not be like racing and rushing and, hurry up, get pictures taken, do all this. Instead, we were just sitting in the motorhome.
So nice.
And then I just opened the door to the motorhome, and we stood on the steps, and we could see the bridal party coming down the stairs. You know, they were about probably 800 feet away, but we could see them. They couldn't see us. And we got to watch all of them walk down the stairs, and then we got our cue, and then I opened the door to the truck. We got in and we drove up, and so it was magical. You know, it was good for the two of us to just feel centered and feel, you know, and I was ready, and she was ready, because we weren't like rushed. And then, you know, you saw in the video, I opened the door, and then the two of us just walked down the aisle, and I think that's why I didn't cry. Why of course I was sad to a certain degree, but I was
Butterfly kisses sad.
I was more excited.
You're getting.
I was ready, and she was ready.
Yeah.
And Amy was ready, and you know,
It's a
not
beautiful
like,
moment.
Yeah, it's not like she was marrying some stranger.
Yeah.
You know, it's somebody that we love and work with every day, and that we know, and it's not like she's moving to Montana or moving to Florida. You know,
It's like you said, that your family grew. It didn't shrink.
Yeah. I feel like there's a fear around you're losing a daughter. Not you, but like in general. It's like getting a son-in-law is a huge thing that people don't always take into account.
Yeah, and for Zane, you know, he just secured his best friend even
For-
more.
Locked in.
Yeah,
Locked in.
But it's
He's a
awesome.
brother now.
yeah. So it's great. They're in Costa Rica. They're there for a couple more days, and then they'll
This
be
was
home.
not even 3 days, 4 days ago? How many? It was a week ago?
No, it was a week and a half ago.
Okay.
So it was a week and a half ago, and they
Oh, that's right. The 16th.
yeah.
Okay.
It was on the 15th.
15th,
And so
okay.
after the wedding, they went to Joshua Tree. My lifelong best friend is a developer and builds these amazing houses in Joshua Tree.
It's so cool though. Good for them.
Yeah. So for them, they got to leave Wrightwood, and then they went to Joshua Tree, which was close.
Yeah.
And they spent 3 days in Joshua Tree.
Decompress.
Yeah, in this 6,000 square foot mansion with, you know, pools and
Oh,
like, yeah.
the amusement park that we got to
He builds like the houses that the stars or the artists from Coachella stay in, right?
Oh,
Like,
right.
those places. So they're just massive, just amazing Airbnbs.
No, it's $100,000 for the month. You want it or not?
Right. But
Yeah.
that's the house they stayed
Yeah.
in, you know. And so they went and stayed there for 3 days, and then they got on a plane and went to Costa Rica for a
Good
week.
for them. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so
I'm
happy
ready
for
for
the
them
whole
to get back
family.
to work. You know, I need you, Jade, but no, they're having an amazing time.
Good.
And, yeah, life's good.
I did not expect that story. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you were. It was the. I go, were you enjoying it or were you nervous? It's like, no, they were literally enjoying it, and that to me is the most beautiful thing, because there's not enough moments in this life that we do take the time to enjoy,
Yeah.
and especially with everything you're going through. That's today's reminder, everybody.
have to.
Enjoy all of the small moments, all of the little things that don't seem like they matter. Believe me, they add up and they matter.
They do.
They do. You and she will remember that forever, I think.
That's it.
For life.
So awesome.
Thanks for giving us a piece of it, because I felt like I was there with
Yeah.
you when you were telling the story. I got just as emotional as you did.
It was
beautiful.
It was really special.
Love to the family. Let's see. So Garage and Socials coming up. Obviously follow Emory Motorsports and Rod Emory on Instagram.
Yep.
Other places, other things?
We're gonna do. I can't give an exact date of when we'll do the kind of grand opening, but it'll be, you know, sometime end of February.
Okay. Early next year.
Q1 next year.
Beautiful.
Yep. And we'll do some, and then there's going to be some great events that surround it. And besides that, we're building some amazing cars right now. I can't wait to, roll out the next 5-10 cars that we're doing. It's just, some really cool stuff. So.
It's always exciting. The Graham goes nuts whenever there's a new one that gets revealed, because it's not like, oh, it's done and now we all know about it. Like there's we wait till the dramatic photo shoot is done, and then the car is released to the people, and then we see all of the gorgeous shots and the
But
beauty,
that's the fun
beauty
part, right?
pics.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
And Drew Phillips that takes our photos. I mean, Drew's just awesome, you know. So I that's one of my favorite parts is once we finish the car, kind of scheduling that photo shoot, and then I always take a different employee with me, and we go up there and
For the drive to go take the photos.
and then they're either a passenger or they get to drive the car, and it's a kind of a cool moment that we share together. So, yeah.
The baby's born and it's on its way. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love you, man. I can't believe it's been this long.
I know.
Agree.
I really can't believe it's been this long.
It feels like so much longer.
Oh,
Like
all right.
I need to start joining you guys on these Friday morning
I hope you
cruises
do.
and breakfasts.
Well,
I mean,
if it's on the way to, just stop by or beep as
well,
you pass.
Or, if I'm already there, it's only 20 minutes the other direction. Right?
It might be a little bit more than that, but yeah, it's worth
I
it.
think I can do it in about 20
It's worth it.
25
It's
minutes.
worth it, whatever it is. So follow Rod Emory and Emory Motorsports. Obviously, love to the family, for God's sake. We love you. Thanks for coming back. If there's anything we can do for you in the future with all of these endeavors, please call on
Anything.
us.
Yeah.
Big, small, otherwise.
We'll
just
definitely get you over to the garage and social and
please, yeah.
yeah.
And I'm not kidding about Wrightwood, too. That's more up our alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the things you can follow. Nicole, Jay, producer Mike ducked out early because he had a wrestling show to be on. Let's see. Tomorrow we're not here. Tomorrow we're going mini shopping. We're trying to find an old mini.
Oh,
Not an old mini of an.
an older new Mini.
Yeah, the first gen
Yeah.
BMW
Cool.
Mini. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like those a lot.
They're great cars. Yeah.
And it's kind of a comfortable. Let's go to medical appointments in
Yep.
her. Like it's
Easy to get in and out of. And,
super easy. Wheelchair in the back. It's kind of just no brainer. So we're looking mini shopping tomorrow.
and they're sporty.
Super cool. Thursday, we're back with Sean Avery is here. Sean
Yeah.
Avery, that'll be very exciting from Your Old Life, that guy right there on the wall.
Yeah.
Former LA King, former New York Ranger, former intern at Vogue.
Vogue.
He was on Dancing with the Stars. Sean Avery is going to be here.
Cool.
Can't wait to see him. It's been so long.
Yeah. And then next week, we're back with Zach Clapman and Sean Bishop. So that's what's going on. I love you, Rod Emory. I'm going to say it again. We absolutely love you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And the whole family. We love you at home. Please love one another. And we'll see you out there. See you next time.